Good morning. Today is the 9th of July 2024 and I'm going to go through my trade plan today. It's going to be a brief one today because my voice is a little bit on the tender side, so I'm just going to briefly go through the levels. Before we start, let's look at the economic calendar to see what could be moving the market today. 9:15 coming up in the next few minutes, next 10 minutes, we've got Fed speaking, and again at 10 o'clock, so be a bit wary during these times. If you're in a trade, then keep an eye on it. And then we've got more Fed speaking at 3:30. There's a bit of news in between. Okay, so let's look at ES. This is the 1 hour time frame, and I've updated my levels slightly today. So the only levels I've got, really, it's difficult trying to find decent levels at the moment. Let's open up my pen. Okay, so the levels I'm really watching for is around here. We did get down there in the pre-market, so the pre-market low I'm watching for a bounce, and that's around 56.33 area. It's also on the coming close to the 20 moving average as well, so I want to watch out for a bounce. And I did have an order in earlier, but we got a Fed speaking at 15 minutes past as well, so I got out of my order. What was that? That was about half an hour ago. I had an order and I cancelled it, and I thought I'll wait to see what happens once the market moves after 10 AM. So that's the level, and obviously it would have worked, the level I was watching. I'm also watching this area here. We've got two plays, potentially watching for rejection. That's a higher risk because it's against the trend, or a break and retest to make a new all-time high and continue this trend up. As you can see, we're putting in higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then higher high, and now we're just going sideways. So that's the range we're watching for today. Let's just draw it back in again. So really want it to break out either side of that range, either to break above it or break below it, and hard to find a short on such a strong market, so I'm not really watching for shorts today, but I may consider a short if we do break below 56.33, and then obviously watching 56.40 for the break and retest long. Next bounce area is this area of confidence. We've got tops of pivots here and bottoms, tops of pivots here and bottoms of all these candles as well, and the bottoms of pivots and also bottoms of candle bodies, and I quite like the bounce around 56.22. We've got the 50 moving average coming up into that area as well, and directly below we have the point of control as well with a volume. So this is the area I'll be watching for a bounce, and I think that's it for today. That's all I'm watching for. I'm going to try and stick to a 60-minute to 90-minute trading day really. I want to be done by 11 to 12 AM Eastern time. Quickly look at SPY. So the areas I'm really watching is probably this area here, 55, 54, 98, so 555. Excuse me. And then again, same as ES, we can watch for maybe a breakout over all-time highs, break and retest. Still not a big fan of going short, but we can watch yesterday's low and pre-market low for the breakdown below that level into where the point of control is. But that's probably the only bounce I'm watching for, and that's again tops of pivots there, bottoms of pivots there, and bodies of candles and area of confidence. So watching for a bounce, and you've got this major amount of volume coming in, and that's where the point of control is, so I can act as our natural support. SPX is only two levels, really interesting, 5600, 5500, and we're trading right in between those two levels at the moment. So if we do get up to here, I'll consider a short. If we get down to this area, I'll look for a bounce. While I'm here, let's just put in my alert. So just to make me aware of what's going on, I'll put my alert in down here as well. So if we get down to those areas, I can then keep an eye on it. NQ. not as good area. Can't really find any real decent predefined areas. We could watch potentially this area around here, 20,630 for a bounce. We've got tops of pivots. We've got the point. We've got a volume shelf as well over here on the left hand side. So we know there's volume there and potentially orders still sitting there from before, which wasn't filled when we were last back down there. So I'm watching this area for a bounce, but we are still riding this trend line, and we've bounced twice, bounced again. We haven't quite got down to it yet, so we can watch for a bounce off of pre-market low, yesterday's high, for the push back up as well. And then again, same as ES, if we break over pre-market high, watch for the break and retest long. And it's really hard trying to find a short, but you could say we've got this wedge pattern which is broken down, and maybe the break and retest of this area short could be on as well, but that's high risk. QQQ, the best area for a bounce is 488.60, pivot, and maybe we can watch this entire area for a bounce. Otherwise, this area here, which will be 497, we can watch that. Hit one button. 497, we can watch that for a bounce as well. Let's zoom in a bit. 497. The reason for that is because we've got tops of candles, bottoms and bodies of candles. There's a lot of touches, and to our left you can see the volume profile, and the point of control runs right through that area as well. So quite like that area for a bounce. That's probably the only place really. Crude oil. We've hit our bounce spot today, and I think I'm going to start watching crude oil a bit earlier, because every day I look at it and we've always seen it come in. Oh, that's a bit big. I always see it come into these areas we've been watching in the pre-market. So maybe that's a good trade for when the European market opens. I quite like the continuation, the break and retest long. We are in a bit of a downtrend at the moment, so we don't really want to go long until we break that trend. But we could also watch for the rejection of yesterday's low as well, which is where we are right now. And then watch for the bounce at pre-market low, or higher probability break and retest short. And we've got the point of control area, which is the area where the most volume is, running in around 81.40. So watch for a bounce in that area. And that's the bottoms of these pivots as well. Gold. Really nice clear area, just seeing anything else. So this area we've already predetermined. We watched it a few days back, and we came back in every time. We touched it there, touched it there. So I quite like watching for the bounce again at 23.59, 23.60. It doesn't look like we're putting in a head and shoulders pattern, so we can also watch the break and retest of that level. Bearing in mind the 200 moving average is coming up into that area as well, so it might be hard to break down through it. If we do go short, the next target area has got to be quite a big region, so it's going to be quite hard. This region here will be our target area, and so it's a big area, so we will have to watch for a reversal. We can also watch that area for reversal if we break down, looking for the bounce back up. And probably this region here, 23.36. Let's just draw a level in. In fact, where the point of control is, that's probably the area I'd watch for a bounce anyway. 23.36 for the bounce. RTY. this trend line seems to be, we've had this on almost feels like forever, but it's still honouring it. We drew it back here in May, I think it was. We rejected it there, that's when we first put it together. Rejected it there, rejected it there, came close to rejecting it, rejected it there a couple of days ago, Monday, yesterday, and then we've yet to break through. So I'm watching for rejection of that trend line again, but definitely this area is holding, and so I'm watching for 2038 for a bounce, and I'm probably going to put an alert in there just to be notified when we get down into that area. And then we've got this region here we can watch for a bounce as well, which is 2027, but this is the prime area for a bounce. And if you were to draw in the pattern, we've potentially got this pattern. And we're starting to narrow. Notice how we had big sweeps of this pattern before, big sweeps, and now we're starting to narrow down. So soon we're going to get a direction, either break down below that area or a break up above that area. Let's zoom out, look at the overall trend. It's been going sideways now for some time. We've been in this range now since, we've been in this range now since end of 2023. So if we're going to break the range, then we need to break out of that area, or if we're going to continue down in the range, we'll be coming down into that area there. So we're smack bang in the middle of it. So we'll play the chart as and when we see the pattern form. We've got to reset, there we go. Okay, so YM. Again, the only place I can see a bounce will be this region here. Yesterday's low, 39,595, 39,600. So we can watch for a bounce here. We've got lots of touches of the pivots and candles, and we've got the point of control just below as well. And so that's the area to watch for a bounce today. And we're still above the 200 moving average, which is the purple line. We've got a rejection area as well, yesterday's high, so if we dig out there we can watch for rejection. We had that level in place from here, look at that, we came straight into it. So hopefully somebody caught that. Look at these levels. I go through these levels every morning before they happen. When did that one happen anyway? 8 AM, so we may have just seen at 10, so we would have come in for a double top, and that would have been a great rejection. And then Bitcoin, we've got this trend line we put in, we've been holding it, we broke through it, came back down. Notice when we broke through, RSI was high, lots of volume in that area as well, but we've yet to break over this pivot. This area here is a key area. If we break pre-market high, then potentially we might be looking to break the trend line. Let's just draw in. So that's kind of the pattern we're looking at right now. So we could watch it within that pattern. It's either going to break out, or break down, or break out. So there's two areas to watch. Let's go into the daily quickly. Still watching for a bounce down in this region here. This is the area of supply. Let's draw it in. I'm going to get rid of that one because I prefer this area. The reason it's an area of supply is because we had a small move there and then we had this big move up afterwards. So this is where we've got supply waiting, so we could watch for a bounce in that region. Not supply, I meant support. We've got a bit of a volume shelf there as well. And I think that's it. Let's just quickly look at the order flow for ES and see where we are in the last few minutes. One thing to note on the daily, it's quite interesting to see this, is the price is increasing but the volume's decreasing. So we've got a bit of a volume divergence there. And look, we've got pretty much oversold on the daily, overbought on the daily as well. So a a pullback is due, but when it happens I don't know. So we just keep playing the trend until it breaks. Okay, so now let's look at the other screen for dope. So trade safe. I got the order flow live on my other stream, so I would recommend keeping an eye on that. We're getting a little bit of divergence right now on it, so worth keeping an eye on that. Price is going up, where the cumulative delta is going sideways a little bit.